I always told myself, I knew it. I said, I want to have a glamorous look studio before the age of 25. And I accomplished that. There's so much power in that, in setting yourself realistic timelines, realistic goals. I mean, I think free work, especially in the beginning of your career, is so crucial. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't believe in that anymore, but it's so important.
Another important aspect about setting goals is something that I've realized is, like you said, having a timeline, because a goal without a timeline is just
nothing.
It's just in the air.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I want to open up a storefront. Okay, cool.
Great.
By when? What's your strategy? Like, how much money do you need to save? How much money do you make this year? Like,
more than anything, when you set a timeline for yourself, you're holding yourself accountable to that.
Ooh. How old were you? Like 12, 11?
I had to have been 12. That's when I was living in LA. So I lived in LA for 4 years. That's why. Oh my God.
Look at that. But when the girl was nervous, she was like, okay, thanks. Welcome.
Hey everyone, I'm Sophia Perez and you're watching Talent Child Interviews. So,
Talent Child Interviews.
So, what are you working on right now? Right now, I just did a podcast national commercial. It's in Spanish. I'm Cuban American, and it was really fun filming it. It was so fun. We have girls in this big house with a huge family, and it was just really fun. But it's getting on air soon, so I'm glad to see it.
Oh my God, this is so cringy to watch.
It's crazy.
My Chick-fil-A commercial that's out, and my Disney Week commercial.
That was in LA?
Yeah, I lived in LA for 4 years.
What is that?
But when you were young. So
Say it again?
when you were young. So it had to be like when you're 8, 9.
So I'm born and raised here in Miami, and then I started acting. I landed an agent and a manager here in Miami when I was 9. And then I moved out to LA 2009, so I was 12, going into 7th grade. And then I was full-time homeschooled, full-time acting. And I was acting, singing, dancing, playing a few instruments as well.
Is that good or bad?
Good. I mean, I had an amazing experience. I feel like a lot of what I know today and who I am today is because of that background. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I would have never gotten into the makeup industry if it wasn't for that. Because, like, my first... I'm not gonna say like image of makeup, because obviously when I was younger I would play with my mom's makeup and things like that, but my first experience was like being on set and being in the front of the camera and like sitting on the makeup chair and getting my makeup done, you know? And then like fast forward 11 years, I opened up a studio, and now
It's ironic a little bit.
It is. It's everything is full circle. And for me too, are we filming or no?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And for me too, I think it's really funny how I literally, no, I'm not going to say, stopped what I was doing here in Miami, but I moved to LA, got an agent, got a manager, went the whole professional route, tried to, pursue acting, and I didn't land like a national, I guess, gig. I did commercials and things like that, but until...
Did Chips Ahoy,
Yeah,
what was
yes.
it, Nickelodeon or Disney?
It was Disney, Nickelodeon, but it's funny because, I did those commercials, but I never landed anything big enough to actually leave me and like move my family to LA. I was like bi-coastal a little bit.
At that age, you get paid? Like
Yeah. My mom was my momager, and I still to this day call her the Kris Jenner.
Momager?
Yeah. She is
Momager.
a whole momager. But it's just really funny because that was when I was, 12 to 15, and I didn't land something so big until I did my reality TV show at 22, 23 years old. So it's really full circle how like I tried to pursue acting when I was younger, and then it led me to like opening up my own makeup studio, and also being on TV as an adult, on national television, going to this island and doing Temptation Island.
When you did that island though, you had already started the makeup business though, no?
Yes, but it wasn't to this extent. So I was still like freelancing, and I was like working from home.
So you didn't have your own shop?
I didn't have my own shop. Actually, what pushed me to open up the studio, my first location, I was renting like a small room. It was like a 10 by 10 little room in the back of a
10 by 10?
Yeah, like a small like little room in the back of a lash studio, and it was the push of knowing that I was going to be on television. So I had filmed this reality TV show, and I was doing makeup freelancing at my parents' house. I had a glam room at my parents' house, and I would travel a lot. And so when I came back from filming and I knew that it was going to air, I think it aired February of 2022 or
That's when the show was
No, sorry, 2021. Sorry, February of 2021 is when it aired. We filmed 2020. Does that make sense?
So pre-COVID.
So basically in the middle of COVID, we filmed, and it didn't air until February 2021 is when Temptation Island
You guys were
aired.
on an island, so you're not gonna get COVID from there.
Yeah, and we had like COVID testing every 2-3 days. Like they were very strict. We had to quarantine for 2 weeks. Like it was a whole thing.
crazy.
But it's just funny how I say, like we were talking about, things are full circle, because it's like I did this whole childhood thing. I was a childhood actor, landed these things, but ultimately I had to move back to Miami, to my hometown, because acting I never was able to land anything big enough. And then as an adult, I'm here going on national television, filming, a reality TV show. And that was when I really kind of kickstarted, I guess, my career in TV, on TV.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how everything kind of goes full circle, but yeah.
I actually had an experience like that. I had my first live interview
Okay.
2 days ago, Saturday.
That's right. I saw your reel.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And that guy, this is a clip that was going to come out. The guy, I emailed that guy like 7 times.
Really?
I followed up with him. Like, I follow up with everybody because I'm like, okay, look, what's the worst that can happen? I don't get the interview. Perfect. I didn't have it in the beginning. And then I sent him a shoe in the box. So it's something I do to the people. I'll be like, hey, put a shoe in the box, show who I am. I'll be like, hey, by the way, I sent you a shoe to show I've gotten a foot in the door. And I sent him a shoe in the box, and it pretty much said like, hey, by the way, I sent you a shoe to show I've gotten a foot in the door. I look forward to meeting you so I can get the second one in as well. Boom.
Oh.
That's how I got some of the bigger interviews. And then he saw that. I guess he didn't respond, whatever. And then I DM'd him September 27th last year. I was like, hey, bro, like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know I'm going to interview. Like, I don't know how. I just know it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to be humongous. Mm-hmm. And it was a full circle moment. It made me realize that, I don't know, maybe you could attest to this. Your words have a lot of power, and there's a lot, not a lot of people realize it, but there's a lot of power in visualization, like truly
Manifestation?
Manifestation, I don't know. And I'll say this. Why? Because I believe a lot in God, and I believe a lot in faith. And I said something on stage that day that to walk by faith and not by sight. And I think visualization is more like you sit down and you start really seeing. Maybe it is manifesting. I don't know.
I see that as manifestation.
Yeah, maybe
I mean,
that.
I think it's same, but different. Different words. But
Yeah.
I that's how I like a vision board. That's a part of
I have that.
visualization and manifestation. I think that
Yeah,
it ties hand in hand.
Okay.
But that's how I see it too. Like visualization is huge. I mean, I remember when prior to opening up the studio, I knew I was going to open up a studio. I knew it was going to look like this. I knew these were how the vanities I wanted the vanities to look like this. I knew I wanted it to be black, white, and silver. Like when I tell you I wholeheartedly visualized this, manifested this. I mean, I even remember prior to actually locking in this location and opening up this location, I would walk by this plaza all the time. And I remember I saw the for lease sign one day and I said, this is where I'm going to open up my location. This is where it's going to be.
How long ago was that?
That had to have been maybe, I was looking for a
2020,
storefront.
2021?
No, I was looking for a storefront location. I just didn't know where I wanted it to be yet. That was probably 3 months prior. I opened up this business May of 2022. That was probably the beginning of 2022, where I knew this was a year that I wanted to open up a location, like a big location, because I was, remember, in a 10 by 10 little shoebox.
Yeah.
That's where I was taking my clients, So I knew that I wanted to open up a location. I just didn't know where, and I didn't know like how it was going to look or where it was going to be. But when I saw this and I saw the for lease sign, I told myself, this is where I'm going to have my location. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know, but this is where it's going to be.
And that's the power in it. And I say that to myself all the time. I have no idea how this is going to happen. I have no idea how I'm going to get to Patrick Bedave. I have no idea how I'm going to get to Rick Ross, but I'm there. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot of belief, a lot of power in that belief. I want to get into it, but let me formally introduce you. And by the way, I used to go to school like 2 minutes, like the Bomb Grim right there.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went like right there.
That's so funny.
And this has been 8 years, like Glamour Studios or no?
Glamorous, yes. So 8 years I've been freelancing for 8 years, but I established Glamorous Looks in 2019.
So 4
4 or 5 years, basically.
We'll say in total 8 years.
Yeah, in total 8 years, because
Okay.
I started actually taking clients and doing makeup as a job, since it was 2015, 2016. Yeah.
You know what? I realized it pays good because I saw, what was it? I had a TEDx, right? And I had to do makeup. I was like, why are you guys doing makeup on me? I don't want to do it. No, bro, you have to do it because when you get on camera.
The camera, yeah.
Whatever. And shit's expensive. Well,
It
it's
is.
But it's a good business. I like it. It's like, you know what I see? I see it as one of those businesses that AI can come in it. There's nothing this is a forever business.
And let me tell you that makeup has evolved tremendously from when I first started to now. I feel like makeup is a luxury that people are always going to invest in. Think about your wedding. You're not going to do your own. A woman that doesn't know how to necessarily do glam makeup for something as important as her wedding or her maternity photo shoot, or she's not going to do her own makeup for such a special occasion for photos that you're going to have for the rest of your life. So I feel like that's why the makeup industry is now, it used to be a luxury, and I feel like now it's becoming a necessity for all these special moments. Like people need a makeup artist because for their wedding, they're taking professional photo shoots. They're they're not going to be able to do their own makeup for that,
course,
you know?
yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy how it's transitioned when 5 years ago, makeup wasn't even a real job. When I first started, people laughed at me. But we're like,
Hold on, we gotta get into that. Let me introduce you, because I think that's where the real sauce is at. So,
Yeah.
guys, Women International Month. It may be the best month. I don't know. I'll let you guys think about that. But we got some crazy guests. If you guys haven't already seen, go check it out. Big time CEOs of billion-dollar companies, entrepreneurs. Like, guys, Women International Month. But if it is your first time here, welcome to the Leaders Talk Podcast, right? I'm your host, Jacob Pito. I interview leaders amongst every industry. CEOs, mayors, athletes, entrepreneurs, politicians. I mean, the list can go on. Anybody that you admire. And for what, right? So that you could take a piece of everybody's success, especially today, and apply it to your own. But more of the story, we have today another piece of the Women International Month. And I hope we reconnect, because I have a feeling like already behind the scenes, I really do think you're going to drop a lot of gems in here. But guys, CEO and founder of glamorouslooksstudio, 8 years. We'll get more into that. Freelancing, then starting up her own business here, open up a location, Miami Lakes. I'm going to link all your stuff so they can see
awesome.
it. Was in a reality TV show, right? Temptation Island. Now you started your own academy, new line of business, and has also crossed over 100,000 followers across all platforms, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. I think around 150.
yeah, pretty much.
Around 150 followers across all platform, guys. We're interviewing Sophia Perez.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
So, right. You know, I have to stop saying so. I mean, I always say this. I don't know why, but I always start off like so. But too, my gosh. Like we talked about, you have been doing this for 8 years, but more, for me, what's more powerful is like kind of what we talked about off camera that you had, goes back into the visualization and manifestation. You had an interview 11 years ago when you're like 12, 10, 11, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That somebody was asking you like, hey, like, how are you feeling about today? You had just done a Chips Ahoy commercial. You did a Disney commercial, all this stuff. And you had so much like confidence in the way you spoke. Like you were speaking, like you weren't shy. You're like, oh, like you were speaking so confident, so clearly. You didn't stutter. It was like, damn, like, I don't know what's going to happen with this girl, but she's going to go somewhere. That confidence that you were speaking with, was that something like your parents were like, hey, you got this? Or was it something you kind of found yourself?
I think it's a mix of both, I would like to say, because I have two amazing parents I'm so blessed and grateful to have such proud parents and such supportive parents, because anyone in my industry, I mean, imagine I was a 9-year-old little girl saying, Mom, I want to be on TV. Dad, I want to be on Disney. And they believed it. Why? How? I don't know. Maybe they're just as crazy as me, but they believed in me. And, I moved to LA and pursued that, where you saw that interview. Or when I decided I want to be a makeup artist, any other parents would be like, that's not a real job. Because 8 years ago, makeup wasn't a real job. Like, it really wasn't. And so now, look at what it's turned into, because I've always had my support. But I think my confidence comes from not only the support from my parents, but also a part of like, I got to fake it till I make it. I want to be here. I want to make it look like I am a boss girl, even at 11 years old. Obviously I did these amazing national commercials, but I've always carried myself with so much confidence, because I knew that if I want to push forward in this industry, I need to walk into a room like I'm not even phased.
Was that like, you just always had that?
I always had that. I was always a crazy, confident, outspoken little girl. I get it from my father, because he's very much the same way. But I always had that, even at 11, 12 years old, always had that entrepreneurship mindset where it's like, if I want this, I'm going to get it. How? I don't know, but I'm going to get it. And if I have to fake it till I make it, I'm going to do it. And it's really funny, because till this day, when I teach my mentorship courses, that's one of the first things I say. In the beginning, you're not the best makeup artist, but you have to fake it until you make it. You got to make it look like you're booked and busy. So I feel like I've always kind of had that inner self-confidence, but because I've had amazing parents that have always supported me, that's always given me that extra push.
So pushback, but not a pushback. Fake it till you make it. I don't know. I've always been, I'm still young, right? I'm still 18, so I'm still learning. I love learning from people, especially people that have been successful. By faking it till you make it, what does that look like? Is it that you're telling people, hey, I'm the best in the world? Like, what is faking it till you make it?
Not necessarily best in the world, but a prime example, I guess, speaking from my own journey. In the beginning, when I was first starting off makeup, I wasn't good. I wasn't good, and I didn't have any clients. So, and that's everyone. Everyone starts at zero, right? Everyone starts at nothing when they're building a business. But what did I do? I used social media as a powerful tool to push myself into this world of being in the beauty industry. And what I mean by fake it till you make it was, the first year in the makeup industry, you're at zero, right? You're not really making money. You're losing money because you have to invest in your makeup kits and your lights and your products, and it's all expensive. Makeup is very expensive. And so I was a senior in high school. So I was like 16, 17. And I was this girl who wanted to start makeup and loved this, had this love and passion for beauty. So I started this makeup page, not thinking anything of it. And I just started posting, right? I would post myself a lot, but then I would think, if I ever do want to start doing other people, I have to also post other faces. So what did I do? I didn't have clients. I didn't have paying customers. I was really doing it for a lot of it for fun. So I would get all of my friends and I was doing makeup. I think for the first year of my business, I was doing makeup for free all the time. I got anyone in my chair, sit down and I'd post them. My client loved her makeup. Was she really my client? Yeah, she was, but she wasn't a paying client, but I made it look like I was booked and busy. So that's a prime example of faking it to make it. Because when you're starting any business, if you're not pushing out content, if you're not showing your talent, your work, how are people going to book you, right? So maybe they weren't paying customers, but I was faking it till I made it. I made it look like I was booked and busy every week.
For those people out there that are entrepreneurs, that are whatever industry that they're trying to get into, how important is it to do free work? Like when you're starting off, because I know me, I have a marketing agency and I worked with somebody for free for a month. Now I have an equity deal in his academy. I was like, damn, you really do have to do free work. Talk about that free work.
I think free work, especially in the beginning of your career, is so crucial. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays don't believe in that anymore, but it's so important. Think about it. I knew that I wasn't the best at makeup when I first started. I didn't have any paying customers in the beginning, but I know that I needed to practice my craft. I needed to practice my technique, build my confidence. So I was getting all the free work that I could. Anyone that can sit in my chair that was going to be of value to me because they were going to post me, because it was going to be a cross collaboration. To me, in the beginning of my career, even now, I'm 8 years into my career. I have a studio. Am I pickier with my free work? Absolutely. I'm only going to put valuable people in my chair that makes sense for me to be doing for free. But in the beginning, that is your stepping stone. You are building your portfolio. Whether it's makeup, whether it's marketing, whether it's any industry, whether even you want to start a clothing brand, you need to be sending out your clothes to, influencers to get your name out there. I think people nowadays have forgotten how important it is to build that portfolio and doing that free work. Any business that you start, you're going to be in the negative, right? You're going to be really not profitable in the beginning.
That was literally what I was going to ask you, because a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people that start off their business. They start off businesses. Obviously, the point is to make money, right?
Of course.
Obviously. But it doesn't work like that way. When you start off, it's not really, let me save the most amount of money I can. You also, if you want to make it far, if you want to have longevity, if you actually want to have a good business, you have to constantly reinvest.
Absolutely.
How important is it for you, at least when you started, to reinvest and go all in?
Yeah. Reinvesting into your business is so important. And look at where I'm at now. I always feed my business first. Always, till this day. So I'm always constantly feeding my business. Don't get me wrong. I pay myself what I need to survive, but it's crazy because I've always prioritized feeding back into my business. It's the most important thing. I've opened up Glamorous Looks, the studio storefront we're sitting in right now. I'm going into my second year and I still prioritize reinvesting and feeding back into my business, whether that be marketing, campaigns, a social media assistant. For a lot, in the beginning, I try to do it all myself, and it's important, you need to cut costs as efficiently as you can. But now it's at a point where it's like, I need to hire an assistant. I can't do it all myself. I can't reach out to all my emails all by myself. I can't do social media all by myself. I knew that it got to a point that I needed to hire someone because I needed to reinvest back into the business. And that is ultimately going to get me further along versus trying to, do it all myself and be up to here. So I think it gets to a point where you see value in that. When in the beginning, I was like, I don't know if I can give this to, if I can pass along my social media to someone, because I was so hands-on into my business. But it got to the point where it's like, I know that I need to invest and continuously invest in my business to see growth.
Do you think you not delegating and not being so hands-on early on actually held you back a little bit, trying to hold on to everything?
I wouldn't say that it necessarily held me back. I just feel like I'm so passionate about my business and I want things, I have a clear vision. So I wouldn't say that it held me back, but definitely bringing other people into it and has boosted. Okay. So it didn't hold me back. I mean, maybe if I,
if you would have done it a little earlier, you think you would have been further or not?
Not necessarily further, because I feel like I have my hands in a lot of places, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm very social media savvy, marketing savvy, because I did study that. I have a degree in social media marketing. So it just got to the point where it's like I knew that I needed hands. I needed extra hands. It was only going to elevate my business. Yeah. So I think I did it in the perfect point. Like, the first year I did it all myself because I knew I had a lot of costs and I maybe couldn't, hire this person and hire that person. But I knew going into the second year, I needed to start hiring people and I needed that help.
But 100%, like, at this point, not if you didn't have people around you, if you didn't have those key hires, if you didn't have the assistant, you wouldn't be growing.
Oh, not only would I not be growing, but I wouldn't have a life. I wouldn't be able to say, hey, look, like, I want to take a Sunday off just to breathe. I would be up to here, trying to do it all myself. And I did it for as long as I could, but it got to the point going second year into my storefront where I was like, I need to back off a little bit, and I know it's only going to help me grow.
So I want to go back to the beginning, 8 years, right? Like we said, before you got your storefront, which you got 2 years ago, which, by the way, you guys have to see in person because that's your badass. I really did like it.
Thank you.
To this, like, just to put a statistic so you guys can understand, there was somewhere I saw, I don't know, Google, whatever. In the first 2 years, like 20% of businesses, entrepreneurs that start businesses, they fail. They give up, they go back to corporate, they get a job, whatever it may be. 5 years, over 50% done. You've now been doing this for 8 years, and I'll say consistently too, because if you look at your social media, you have content that you were posting on the glamorous YouTube from like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and like quality content. It wasn't just like you talking to a screen of a client, you demonstrating how to do it. It was actually really good content. When you look back in the beginning of those first 8 years, do you have the end in mind? Did you know you would have a storefront? Did you know you'd have the following? Like,
I've always been, we were kind of talking about it behind the cameras, but I've always been a very visual person. I've always set myself timelines and goals that I've always been like that since I was young. So I honestly knew going into it, I'm not gonna say maybe going into it at first, it kind of just happened, but I definitely knew 2-3 years into freelancing, I knew that I had a passion for this and that there was money in this industry and it was only going to continue to grow. So I always told myself, I'm 26 now. I always told myself before the age of 25, number one, I wanted to open up a storefront, and number two, I wanted to be a homeowner. And I achieved those things before the age of 25. At 24, I opened up my first actual storefront because in 2021 was when I opened up the little kind of, the first storefront, which was not really my necessarily storefront. I was renting a room, a little kind of 10 by 10. But I always told myself, I knew it. I said, I want to have a glamorous look studio before the age of 25. And I accomplished that. There's so much power in that, in setting yourself realistic timelines, realistic goals. And I use the word realistic because it's important. I can't speak, I started in my senior year of high school. I can't say in 2 years, I'm going to open up my first storefront. In 2 years, I was, 18, 19? Like, setting yourself realistic goals is so important, and it's something that I'm a huge believer on. So I would say early on, within the first 3 years of starting to freelance, I knew that this is what I loved, and I knew that I wanted to continue doing it, grow a team, and ultimately have a storefront studio.
And another important aspect about setting goals is something that I've realized is, like you said, having a timeline, because a goal without a timeline is just
nothing.
It's just in the air.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I want to open up a storefront. Okay, cool.
Great.
By when? What's your strategy? Like, how much money do you need to save? How much money do you make this year? Like, where's your strategy?
And I think more than anything, when you set a timeline for yourself, you're holding yourself accountable to that. Ooh. That's that
viral
I know.
Viral clip. No, you know what's crazy? Sometimes, like the one with Elena Asha. Do you know who Elena is or no?
It sounds familiar.
She was the one that went viral for the red car theory that I got like 13.
Okay.
The interview that we had.
Yes.
She will be saying stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's viral. Oh, viral. but it's true. A goal without a timeline, a goal without a specification, right? You don't hold yourself accountable because it's, oh yeah, tomorrow I guess I'll get back to the work. Like, you have more of a sense of urgency.
Yep.
In those 8 years, like, getting that storefront, what was the sense of urgency that you had within yourself? And I ask that because I believe to get anywhere that you want, you have to have a sense of urgency in the work that you're doing today, but super patient in the results in the macro. Like
Absolutely.
you said, you can expect the storefront 2 years, but you have to work as if it is coming in 2 years. Talk to me about that balance of being patient with your goals, but also having a sense of urgency and like working your ass off today.
Yeah. Like I said, I always had that like timeline engraved in my head with, before the age of 25, I knew that I wanted to open up my storefront studio. But I think what ultimately pushed me, and we talked about it a little bit off camera, what really, really pushed me was landing that reality TV show. Because I knew that when it aired, I couldn't be bringing people over to my parents' house. I mean, I was literally taking clients in my parents' house, So I think that's what really pushed me to say, okay, like I've now accomplished this huge thing, being on like national television. I can't be working off my parents' kitchen, not kitchen countertop. I had a glam room, but I can't be working from my parents' house. So it was like a mix of, I don't know, it was just that feeling where it was like, this is the right time. This is the stepping I have built, and I have done all of these little stepping stones, and it has now pushed me to open up that first little studio that I had, that little 10 by 10 room. And I left, I was only in that little room for 1 year. It took me 1 year to outgrow that room. It took me 1 year to say, I did what I could here. It served its purpose, but now I'm ready for a storefront studio that's, over 1,200 square feet.
And the clients that you were getting, was it all through social media? All
through social media. I have built my entire clientele through social media. I actually didn't start a Google page, like a Google review page, until I opened up this business, until I opened up this location.
What was your strategy behind the marketing? Did you have like a set strategy with the marketing, or was it just posting clients?
I think when it came to finally opening up this studio, I wanted to give a clear vision of, you're coming to, not only is, this very professional, luxurious, but I have a good team now. So my, I guess you can say, strategy for really promoting and pushing and marketing this studio was that you come in, no hair, no makeup. You're coming into this beautiful environment. You can get your hair and makeup in an hour. Hair and makeup's done at the same time. You leave to your event.
Actually, I want to go back to the Temptation Island. I haven't seen that series, but is this somewhat kind of like the Love Island, like that type of vibe to it?
So it's very similar to Love Island in the sense that it's all kind of revolved around people that come onto this island and form connections. But the crazy thing about Temptation Island is that, unlike Love Island or all those other reality TV shows, those reality TV shows are based off of singles. Right? Single people that come onto this island to build a connection. Temptation Island is quite the opposite. It's actually people that are already in relationships. And I'm talking about long-term relationships. And they come onto this island to test the relationship.
Do they still have that? Is that still going on?
Oh, it is. It's still going on. There,
Netflix?
I think it's on Peacock. It's on Peacock.
Is your stuff still out?
Yeah. It happens for
I'm gonna
sure.
watch it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna send you videos. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
It's crazy.
And you had a different hairstyle, no?
I was blonde. Yeah, I was like 22, just had gotten out of...
single?
So I just had gotten out of a 5-year relationship. I didn't know who I was, where really, I wanted to go, and I got offered this opportunity, and it came in the perfect timing. And so I went in as a single. So basically, the gist of the show is 4 different couples that are in long-term relationships that are at a crossroads in their relationship. So they go on to Temptation Island to test if they really want to leave the island. It's like an experiment, basically. But if they want to leave the island with their partner, or with a new partner, because they've built a new connection.
I watched 1 season of 2 out of 10. I'm not gonna put my Netflix series that I watch out there, but I watched. It was interesting, but I wondered, is like what you see on television, is it staged?
So I get that question a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's staged, because at the end of the day, that person chooses to say those things. Like, it was never scripted. Everything that we say, it's what we're actually saying, what we're feeling in real time. But of course, producers have, they have a way of getting you to say certain things, right? So the way that they, the dynamic of the questions that they ask you, So that's what I mean by it's not staged. Like, they're not here like, here's a script, read off of it. No, we're saying what we feel and how we feel it. That's all in our own words. We're not,
But is there ever a point where you guys are talking or having like a moment and like they have the camera like right on you and they're just like, hold on, what you guys just said, like repeat that?
Yeah. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. So for example, if they have to stop because of noise, they'll be like, okay, guys, cut, hold your thought, like hold that thought, and they'll readjust or whatever. And then we kind of go back to the same conversation. But again, it's the conversation that I'm having with the person is genuine. Like it's real. They're never like, this is what you need to talk about. No, like it's just us talking for 2 hours of footage, 3 hours of footage, and they're going to chop it up and they're going to put it together the way that they want it to. Does that make sense? So they have a way of asking certain questions to get you to say what they want to say, and a way of editing,
Provoking it, making it suspenseful.
Of course, the music, like, come on, like.
Well, how was it? Because I know on like Too Hot to Handle, like on the show, every show that I've watched or at least heard of is usually like there's always that one person that's the bad guy that steals that person's girl, that these two don't like each other. Is that like stage as well? Like let's say if you don't like that girl and like you guys on the show, like throughout the season, you guys are known for like bumping head. Is that something that's staged too, like that?
That is not staged at all.
I didn't see it. Did you get mad at somebody? Like
I didn't. I didn't have any arguments. I got along with most of the girls, and actually I have created lifelong friendships from that show. I still have 2 really amazing friends that I see every single year. We go on a trip, but on the show there was drama, there was fights, and it's all real. Can you imagine fitting 12 girls under one roof? You think we're all gonna get along? No. Same with men. You're in a room with 12 guys. You're not all going to get along. You know what I'm saying? So, and imagine it's a month of filming, hours of filming, hours and hours and hours. I'm talking about like 12-hour days of filming. So it's like you're bound to get in a fight with someone. It's not your day. Someone catches you with the wrong attitude, you're going to give them attitude back, and that starts a fight. So I would say, in my experience, it was all pretty much real. It was.
Did you like it? Did you like the experience at the end of the day?
I had an amazing experience.
Would you do it again?
Now with where I'm at in my life, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do a reality TV show based around love. But if it's about my business, if it's a reality TV show that makes sense.
Don't they have some? You know what I feel? Wow. Maybe we should get in contact with Netflix. I feel like something showing like woman entrepreneur, like let's say you and then somebody else, and then
other businesses.
Like, that would actually be cool. Like a day in the life. Like imagine like a month that a camera just follows you around, takes you all the moments where you're like, shut.
But I feel like people do that on YouTube. You see that a lot on YouTube.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just different on Netflix.
Of course, it's not like an actual show.
Yeah, like a show, cinematic type of stuff. I ask you that because, like you said, that's kind of also a pivotal moment in your career, because that's also when you realize, hold up, if I'm going to go on show, if I'm going to put my brand out there, if I'm going to put my face out there, now I have to represent myself differently, meaning let's get a storefront, meaning let's go bigger, meaning let's take some risk.
Yep.
Because if I don't take those risks, when people hear me, I have a makeup studio, oh, cool, can I get it? You go to your mom's house.
Absolutely. That's exactly why. That was a very pivotal moment in my career that pushed me to really say, I need to do this big. If I'm on television, I need to do this big. Go big, go home.
I think it's that mindset that ultimately takes people to that position where they can look back and say, damn, I really did become the person I wanted to. When you take those risks, and as you scratch it, I think the risk is not taking one at all. Saying that you want something, saying that, I want to make that makeup studio storefront, and then never acting on it, never actually going off. I think that's a risk, because you never know who you would have become.
Yep. And it happens all the time. It's sad. It's sad.
You see it happen?
Oh, I see it happen all the time. You can't say the same. You don't know so many friends maybe that you went to high school with that they're like, I want to do this and I want to start a business and I want to do this, and they have all they talk all this, but then they don't do anything. And that to me is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, don't say something that you're not going to do. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's little things that you say that you don't do. Like, I'm going to do the laundry today. You don't end up doing. But don't say that you want to start this business and this and that, and then not act on it. Like you just said, who could you have become if you actually did start that business? Where would you be today if you actually did say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take, I'm in the safe route of this 9 to 5. I'm going to risk it all, and I'm just going to open up that business. And then they say it and never do it. And it's sad. It's a sad thing, because it's like you could have really been something. And I feel like that's why, for me, that's why when I do these mentorship courses, I push people. Some of these girls do have the 9 to 5s, and they come straight from their 9 to 5s to on a Tuesday, 6 p.m. to do the classes.
But they want it. That shows somebody that wanted. They get their job. It's very easy to say, hey, I'm exhausted, I'm tired today. But they know they want more for themselves.
And I pushed them, and I continuously pushed them, like, there is money in this, but you need to want it.
Okay, guys, don't kill me. The interview did unfortunately get cut off for the last 10 minutes. I know, it was just getting good. This isn't normal, but I made a rookie mistake. The SD card was full, and then, yeah, whatever. If you did make it to the end, feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, guys. I really appreciate your support. And this support actually pushes more valuable content like this to your feed and to other people's feeds. So if you guys do want to help people grow, if you do want to learn from more CEOs, entrepreneurs, executives, and guys, we're getting big people on the podcast. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. So feel free to subscribe. But guys, on top of that, what got cut off is that if you guys are in the makeup industry, right? If you're watching this, if you want to scale your makeup business, you're trying to make 6 figures a year. Sophia just launched her academy where she is now teaching other women how to be successful, other women how to scale the makeup industry, everything from how to do the makeup, how to run the operations, how to hire people. Let me tell you something. For me, when I look for a mentor, when I look from somebody to learn from, I look at their accolades. I look at what they're doing today. And she has been absolutely killing it for the last 7 years. So guys, only if you're interested in leveling up your business and leveling up your makeup business, hit her up. Go to the link in the bio. It's now. Go, give you a second, go to the link in the bio, click it, book your free consulting call, do whatever you need to do, get in contact and learn from her. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Like I said, hit that subscribe button so you guys never miss a piece of content. And seriously, your support means the world. I'll see you guys on the next one.